welcome to Dose of Wonder. I'm Caitlin, your guide on this journey through mindfulness, mental health, grief, and personal growth. Each episode will dive into honest explorations and gentle reflections to help you find moments of calm, clarity, and a little bit of wonder too. So grab your favorite cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's get started. Today I'm looking at personal growth and self-improvement, but maybe from a less filtered angle. And my mission really for this podcast is to pull out some actionable stuff, but also to figure out how to navigate all that self-help advice that's everywhere, especially if you genuinely want to level up your life without getting bogged down in cliches. I've been thinking a lot recently about all the stuff that influencers tell you to do to improve yourself and your life. And I have to say, I really hate this whole influencer culture that is around right now. I mean, I don't need someone else that doesn't know me at all to tell me how I need to be living my life. Like, wake up at the crack of dawn and drink lemon water in a Stanley cup and go for a 3-mile or 5-kilometer run every day. Yeah, no. That might be good for them, but if it isn't for you, if it isn't your thing, then just ignore it. They aren't experts in your life. So that's the one question you need to ask yourself. Who actually is the expert in your life? And that's no one but yourself. You need to question who you're listening to. And that core message underneath, if it isn't your thing, then just ignore it. It's less about rejecting all advice and more about empowering you to choose what fits, like curating your own growth path. So building on that idea, trusting your path, let's start with this challenge. Do one thing every day that scares you. And I caveat that every day with a little asterisk because every day might be a little bit much. And if that sounds kind of impossible or a bit unrealistic, maybe try for once a week or even once a month. The point is, step out of your comfort zone every so often and push some boundaries and see where that takes you. So it's not about constant fear. It's about consistently and intentionally pushing your boundaries. And by scare you, I don't mean go bungee jumping if you're afraid of heights, though you can if you want to give it a try. But I personally wouldn't because I'm afraid of heights, so you will never catch me bungee jumping at any point in life. It could be something much more every day, like making an actual phone call if you don't like talking to people on the phone and it makes you anxious or uncomfortable. Again, I'm talking about myself. I'm not a phone person and I never have been, being a huge introvert. Or maybe it's traveling somewhere new by yourself, even if it's right in your own hometown. Maybe just exploring a different neighborhood and literally expanding your boundaries and expanding your world. And that's key, isn't it? Expanding your world. It taps into something really fundamental psychologically. It's not just about facing a fear. It's almost like training your brain. Neuroplasticity, which I've talked about before. Each time you step out, even a little, you're building new connections, and you're proving to yourself that you can handle it. Makes the next step feel a little bit less daunting, like microdosing courage, maybe. And it reinforces that idea of without challenge, there is no change, even small challenges. So from pushing external boundaries, we then kind of turn inward and we tell our minds to shut the F up. This is our inner critic I'm talking about, the negative Nelly voice inside us that always seems to whisper, "Oh, you can't do that." Remember that oftentimes it's our minds that are holding us back. And if we listen to our inner voice that has that mean streak, we won't be able to reach our full potential. Our internal critic is a huge roadblock. It keeps us safe, but safe doesn't help us to grow. It keeps us small. It keeps us trapped in our comfort zones, which doesn't do us much good, even though it might feel good because it's comfortable, obviously. But it doesn't challenge us. And without challenge, as I said, there is no change. It keeps us from reaching our potential because it feeds us these limiting beliefs. So it's about recognizing that voice, seeing its intention perhaps, but not necessarily buying into everything it says, questioning its truth. Because often it's that internal dialogue, not actual reality, that's holding you back. Okay, so after kind of dissecting that internal barrier, on the flip side, we have an empowering part about resilience, which is you can do hard things. And you can imagine me capitalizing those words there. You can do hard things. Our mindset and our minds make us a lot stronger and a lot more resilient than we might realize. You know the old nugget of wisdom, mind over matter? Our minds and our mindset can help us get through challenges that we might not believe we can physically. We are stronger than we believe. It's like that Winnie the Pooh quote you've probably seen all over the internet. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. The bottom line is, we can handle a lot more than we probably think we can. Our mindset can pull us through things we might think are physically impossible. So don't let anyone else tell you what you can't do. If you want to do something, go for it. You might not reach your goal on the first time round, but that's okay. We aren't perfect. Try and try again until you make it. As another oft-quoted phrase found online by Oscar Wilde says, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars." You'll be closer to it than if you didn't try at all. And that's something to celebrate all on its own. Those two quotes, taken together, really underscore something we often forget, I think, which is just how much strength we actually have inside us. We tend to underestimate our own resilience. And that message of perseverance, try and try again until you make it, is so important. Because just making the attempt, even if you don't quite get there, that attempt itself is something to celebrate all on its own. It shifts the focus. It's not just about success or failure. It's about the effort and the journey, about building that belief in yourself, your self-efficacy, just by having the guts to try. You learn by doing, not just thinking. So as I kind of wrap up today's short Dose of Wonder podcast into how to live your best life, it feels like the core thread is really about recentering things back on you. We started with trusting your gut and tuning out the noise from influencers who aren't you and who don't know your life. That's the self-authority piece. Then we moved on to actively challenging yourself and stepping out of the comfort zone, even in small ways, to literally rewire your brain, the micro-dosing courage bit. And then finally, recognizing that internal critic, that negative voice, learning to manage it and maybe telling it to quiet down a bit, so that you can tap into that resilience that you already have, that ability to do hard things. And I think really, the big takeaway isn't just a new to-do list. It's more of a fundamental shift in perspective, recognizing that the real expert, the real tools you need, they've always been inside you. It's about cultivating that self-trust, that courage. That's where the power is, not in someone else's checklist. So thinking about all this, trusting yourself, embracing challenges, quieting that inner doubt, here's a thought to leave you with. What hard thing, maybe something you've been putting off or doubting you could handle, what hard thing might you feel ready to approach differently this week, knowing you're stronger than you think? And if you want to start living your life to the fullest, try to do 1, 2, or all 3 of the things I've talked about as often as you can. And that's it for this week's podcast. Next week, I'll be talking about if reading about mental health can have an effect on your mental health and how positive psychology can help. Until next time, thanks for listening, and don't forget to live with a dose of wonder.
In the stillness we begin, with stories stitched in softer skin. A spark, a sigh, a breath, a bend, a dose of wonder, like a friend.